everybody. As Maestro is leaving really quickly, welcome to Podcast Prime, Episode 6. Oh, there's a beep. I guess it's like the keyword. If you say the keyword of the day, you win a prize or whatever. The beep is the indicator. I'm bladelordcal. I'm your host. Joining me is Nick3570.
What's up, guys?
And we also have Team C's marksman, or AD carry, Sotura. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And we have SG's top laner, Maestro. How are you?
How's it going?
Alright, for today, guys, we are going to talk about the itemization changes that are happening. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the other changes, like they announced, I don't know if this was before the stream, but they announced Flash is moving to an AD assassin instead of a power damage assassin. At least that was the first time I heard of it during the itemization stream, that Flash was going AD. And then we're going to talk about Burbank. The top 4 teams have been decided, and that's going to be an exciting LAN. So let's dive into it. Let's start with the artifacts. So this is just the page on the website that details, like, you know, everything. You have the VOD for the stream that they did. But here's where we get into the juicy bits. The super long forum posts that details, like, every single change. So, what are your guys' thoughts on all of this? Like, I know that's a very vague and general question, but we can get, you know, more in depth as we get on.
As far as I can see, I'm excited to try them out. I mean, it's hard to say before you try these items out, but sometimes I like these changes, and it just gets me hyped to try them out, at least.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
No, not too fond of all the health items changing. We actually have health on everything.
Right.
But I'll just wait and see how it is.
Okay, so there's a couple of items that I want to, like, touch on. So Turbine kind of released their new philosophy item-wise. No artifact should be universally must-have / never-have. So a universally never-have item, in my opinion, was Old Mega Rod. Old Mega Rod was just absolutely terrible, and why would you build it on any champion? And then, like, universally must-have was, like, old Rage Al Ghuls. Like, you had to have that modded back in the day. Well, not back in the day, but, like, around May.
It was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, let's be real, it was like 2 months ago. But it was like, you had to have that. Each artifact has an intended role / strategy. Other roles may still build it. Each role should have multiple viable builds, especially around laning / roaming. Most artifacts should have desired scaling stats to free players to pursue the keywords for their strategy, and stat changes to artifacts should not have an unintended outsized impact on specific champions. During the live stream, they also, Danger Dan was saying, like, there should be no wrong item build. I remember that being said pretty frequently. Like, there's no wrong item build. All of these items are meant to be, like, catered to your playstyle. So what do you guys think of this philosophy?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think it's nice to aim for such a thing, as, you know, there's an item specific for each specific situation that you want to build this when this is happening and this champion's in the game or whatever, but it's really hard to achieve that kind of goal when there are certain things and certain items that are just so far ahead of others that you can't feasibly build those items when you have such superior quality items that you could be building, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you guys still think that there will be like a specific item build that everybody should be following, and even after all of these changes to all of these items?
I think it depends. Like right now, even with the Hunter's Crossbow recent changes, we see more people changing up builds with their marksman, like green arrows going more pen than crit. Whereas someone like Cyborg would still go lots of crit. And I could see them differing slightly, but I don't see it being a huge difference.
So, oh, go ahead.
Well, I want to say that I like the fact that they're trying to get all items have their kind of like a niche, and that there's never any never have items. That direction is good, but I feel like there's always going to be those must-haves just because it's a MOBA, and somebody's going to find that optimal build, and people are pretty afraid to stray away from something so like common. So you feel like everybody's going to copy that build anyways, and it's probably the most optimal, and that's what you'll probably end up seeing the most anyways. I don't know, that's how I feel. But I like the fact that they're trying to put in every item.
Yeah.
So
I think it was brought up during the stream, like, oh, what about Starheart for blasters or whatever? And I think they're okay with like having like a few items be like mandatory for specific classes, but outside of that, they don't want to create. They don't want to create just like you must build a Rage Out Ghouls, you must to like as your defensive item or whatever. Like they want to open that up. Like, what if I don't need a Rage Out Ghouls? I need like a Sword of Beowulf because they're all power damage or something, and I can survive and kite without having to pop Rage Out Ghouls or whatever. So I kind of like that change, but I still feel like I agree that there will be like someone will figure out the best 6-item build for every class, every character, and everybody will just copy it and be afraid to challenge that build.
I agree. I think that's what's going to end up happening, but it's always nice and appreciated when the developers try to make things better, you know, and more interesting for people to choose from. And to some extent, for certain roles, that will happen. Like, I would say for tanks, more so than like a mage, a blaster, or a marksman, they can choose different items. Like, you know, somebody's running double AD, you know, you just build straight up armor, and you know, depending on what they have, like you have Metal's Heart, you have, you know, Pseudosaurus, stuff like that, and you can choose what to build, and that's good because it, you know, it lets you tailor your builds to the situation you're in. But for some people, for a lot of people, you know, marksmen and blasters, you know, Starheart, you have to have that. You know, Joe Chills, most of the time on your marksman, you want to build that item, you know, unless, you know, we can talk about more with the item changes later, unless some new build comes out where you're not doing crit anymore. But, you know, you have to have these items just because they do the most damage, you know, and that's your job. Your job is to do damage and survive, so, you know, that's what I think.
Okay, so, oh, Nick, do you have something?
I think it would be better if they, like, obviously you want Joe Chills, like Sotura was saying, but you also, someone's probably going to take Hunter's Crossbow and Joe Chills on the same build. So I think it would be more suitable if they made it, if they gave more options for certain builds. Like if you want pen, you could build multiple items that would not require you to build Joe Chills, but you're probably, every 80 carry is probably going to end up taking Joe Chills anyway.
Right. Yeah. And also, like, it's, you know, speaking of that, they just need more diverse choices if they wanted to do that. Like, so yeah, there'll be a build that'll be doing the most damage and most effective, but that's because there's no choices for like, let's say for marksman right now, like I can't build lifesteal in this game because it's just not effective.
Right.
So I can't
You
do a
will be in
lifesteal
September.
build. It
Yeah.
will be in September, right? But I can't. You know, right now we can't do a lifesteal build because the lifesteal items are just ineffective. And you know, we can do crit builds, we can do armor pen builds, and then that's about it. Like, just because you know. So like that's that's nice because they're giving us more options and that's good.
Mm-hmm. So I want to move on a little bit. So I'm gonna pull up a picture of like the hex. This is what Turbine is balancing items around. So on the stream they showed a picture of a hexagon and like all of the classes or the sides of the hexagon and what damage types they do and yada yada yada. And they're balancing items like in that hex. It was kind of cool seeing it. Do you guys have any thoughts about this before we move on to actual like numbers and stuff?
Well, as far as the actual stats go per roll, or the damage type, I disagree with having all assassins attack damage. And it looks like all bruisers attack damage as well. I don't really see the point in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Flash, I don't think the problem with him, we're kind of getting down into the Flash AD territory, but
We could go there.
I don't think the problem was with him is that he's not AD. Like, changing him into AD doesn't make him automatically do damage.
Right.
You just need like to buff his ratio a little on his W, and he would be
Well,
fine.
I think, like, from there it's kind of hard to tell because we haven't seen, you know, his skillings and whatnot, but I think Turbine here is just trying to make it more simple
Right.
for maybe, like, newer players. Like, if this guy's classified as assassin, then he must be building 80, and what, you know, vice versa with the other roles.
Right.
Right.
So like I remember when Turbine announced that all of the enforcers would be moving to power damage. A lot of people are actually kind of upset, myself included, because
Well, they're all power damage already.
no, this was before, like because Wonder Woman used to be AD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so when they announced that everyone was moving to power damage, a lot of people kind of got a little upset that like, oh, you're just hybridizing all of the champions into one damage type, like that kind of kills interesting builds and whatnot. Because I used to abuse, I want to say, AD Wonder Woman, and that was fun and interesting, and I could still transition into a kind of tank later, but having all assassins AD, I don't exactly agree with. Still, I still think different classes need like different, or it's okay to have like a power damage assassin or a attack damage blaster. Like Catwoman Prime is an attack damage blaster, and she worked out, I want to say, pretty well. Like, she took a little bit of getting used to by the community, but she used to be like really
Still not
strong.
played competitively.
Yeah, but she used to be played competitively because like
I still think she can be.
yeah.
Like,
So
She's not terrible. She
Mhm.
just is a very niche pick,
but
and I just think teams don't really care to pick her.
I think it's fine doing the hex this way in the for the now situations, because who's to say that they can't just go back to doing that in the future eventually, where they say, hey, we know we made this hex of all the damage types and this is what you want to build, and made it really simple, but we're going to change that up. We're going to introduce this new champion who doesn't do what the hex says. He's interesting and unique, and you build it differently. Like, this is a blaster that scales off of AD, or this is a controller that scales off of attack damage or something like that. You know, like they can do interesting things in the future, but for now, you know, with the new patch coming out, I'm fine with the situation that the hex is brought.
Yeah. And also, as Crashy pointed out in the chat, they're also making Cat Prime power damage.
I think they announced that on the stream as well.
Which I also don't agree with.
Yeah, that one was weird because I always thought Catwoman was like Well, when she was released, I thought she wasn't
She's
that
kind of
great.
a lane bully. And
Yeah, exactly. So I thought she was okay before, or like before they announced the change, but now it's weird to me. But again, everything that we're talking about is pretty much pure speculation. I don't think any of us have played the September build, so we don't know how everything will turn out. So moving on. So let's talk about the removal of some items and the changes to some of the keywords. So the harvest keyword is pretty much gone from the game, except for Abensur's. So items like Two-Faced Coin, Joker's Crowbar, and the Crime Bible, gone. I'm personally a huge fan of this, because I'm just gonna pull it up on the stream. Alright. So I'm a huge fan of this because I felt like it was one of those kind of must-have items for your classes. Except for Joker's Crowbar. Like, every blaster, like, pretty much built Two-Faced Coin. And it was just such a passive item that had, like, oh, I buy this and then in a couple minutes I get stronger or whatever. And I don't like that. I prefer items that have a much more active role in the game instead of like passive. I just sit here, and if I just like sit here, I get power damage, and that's kind of dumb to me. So what are your guys' thoughts on like the removal of this stuff?
I like it other
actually
than
like
Crime
it.
Bible.
Well, for me, I actually like that because of the crime. I feel as a top laner, I feel sometimes I'm forced to get crime Bible early when I kind of want to get something else to like push a lane advantage or something. And I think it's neat that they're taking that aspect out, and putting bits of health on other items. So as the top lane, aspect of it, I think that's great. To me, I don't know, but other positions. But okay.
I like removing a Two-Faced Coin because that item was just so OP. It was a must-buy on every blaster. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's following their trend over those must-buy items.
Right.
But yeah.
I'm not a here nor there on the change. Like, I feel like they could have balanced it in a different way instead of just taking it out completely. Like, where they could do, instead of giving stacks based on kills and assists, they could just give stacks over time, like the way it works in other MOBAs, where you sacrifice your early game for a more late game oriented item, like they did, like the same thing with Rod of Ages in League of Legends, where you get this item that you build it early because it gives you stats you need in the mid game and late game. So you sacrifice your early game for this item that does that, and instead they just took it out completely, which is fine because as the way it was working, it highly favored snowballing teams. Like if you just like started getting kills, then you'd just be so strong because your coin is going to be stacked up, or your crime barrel is going to be stacked up faster than everybody else's, and you just like do tons of damage and can't be beaten because you got there first. So it's a good change, I think.
I actually really like that point that Sotura pointed out. Like, why not just have them separate instead? Like, so you can choose of that whatever stacking late game or trying to go for more kills and whatnot. It's just...
Yeah. The thing I don't like about removing Crime Bible is that they basically put health onto every single defensive item, including items that didn't really need it, like Talos. I mean, I guess I see where they're coming from with the putting health on Metal's Heart, but they also remove Will on several items. That was key for Will tanks. So basically...
Yeah. I don't know if that'll be a viable build in September.
Yeah, I think
if you want to be a Will tank, you will have to buy Steel's Breastplate. They're not giving you an option. You will use that item.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought Will Tank was actually a really interesting build, and it's not a build that you really see in any other MOBA that I'm aware of. And it was just really interesting because you have these controllers that scale off Will. I think Arcane Green Lantern is like a really good example of this. He has will scaling. He's inherently tanky, and he can choose if he wants to do this like will tank build, and just like be really really strong. And I never played the will tank because I don't like playing tanks for whatever reason in this game, but I appreciated that it was a very unique and interesting build that people like to do.
I also changed Fragment of Mogo back to attack armor. I thought that was kind of weird.
Right. Okay, so I think I have a few artifacts that I want to talk about. So I want to talk about... Oh, we didn't talk about investment. Alright. So investment is changing in September. So it's not going to give credits over time, thank God. I never liked that mechanic. And then... So it's changing. When sharing drone credits with one or more allies, the overall value is increased by 20%. As with all credit sharing, this bonus is distributed equally between yourself and nearby allies. Investment does not stack with other investments. The maximum bonus is 20%. So basically, I think this is just forcing gambits onto the controller role, which is completely fine in my opinion. And it just kind of increases gold generation in bot lane by a little bit. Just so I think marksman can get to that late game point a lot faster. Well, not a lot faster, but you know, a little bit quicker. And it just, I think this will also hurt the ability for tanks or like top laners to get to their items faster and just kind of overpower marksman. So I like this change. Maestro, you build a lot of gambits in top lane. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty much everyone I start with the tier 1 gambit. But I agree with this too. I mean, I think it was intended to be one of the controller items in bot lane, and the way they're changing it is, yeah, that's the way it's going to be.
Sotura, your thoughts?
That's fine. If they want to give us, let us start Gambit in bot lane, let the controller start that so we can get more gold in bot lane, that's fine. Just depends on what Gambits will be good, I guess, like what stats they'll give. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine that way to like get rid of the gold over time, because they were kind of ridiculous. You know, where like if you just like play passively and just farm up and don't die, and you know, if you get killed, it's even better because you just have so much more gold than everyone else if you build it and they don't. So I'm fine with that change.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the way it looks now is like only the support would get it because the investment doesn't stack.
Right.
And I guess that's the way it was intended.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like very passive game elements like gold over time, like harvest. So if they can just get rid of it and make it more of like an action-packed, or like a faster-paced kind of game where passive gameplay is like kind of a little bit discouraged, because we're playing a game with superheroes. Like, what do superheroes do? They fight. So it just
Batman plans.
Oh, okay. Well, what does like Superman do? He freaking fights everybody. So, like, I don't know. I think it's just more in line with the vision of the game and like what people think when they think, you know, DC MOBA. Just, you know, badass superheroes just fighting pretty much all the time and stuff. So I don't know. So I want to talk about the Zeiss goggle changes, or the Zeiss goggles changes. So it's changing a lot. So it now gives, instead of attack damage and crit, attack damage and attack speed. And then once you get it to tier 4, you get this new keyword called enhanced aim. You gain 8 stacks of enhanced aim each time you hit with a basic attack and 4 stacks every second. When you reach 100 stacks, your next basic attack against an enemy champion will deal 100 plus 25% bonus attack damage as power damage. After enhanced, aim stacks will reset to 10% of your bonus attack damage. So this kind of seems just like an on-hit item. Like, the faster you attack, the faster you can, like, deal this bonus power damage. But I don't know if the power damage is going to be good. Sotura, this is an item designed for marksmen, so I'm gonna let you take it.
It's hard. It's hard for me to say, because it's something that on its own doesn't provide that much, but with more AD could be good, like more AD and attack speed. And this is an item for like a new kind of build where you just build AD and attack speed, where you just want to hit them a lot and then proc this enhanced aim thing where you just, like, you know, it's like basically being Cyborg. Like, you're having Cyborg's passive on like everyone is what you're like trying to go for with this. And it depends. Like, if you can get that AD you need and the attack speed you need to make this work, then maybe it could be good. But I like the change. It's interesting. It's an interesting item now. Instead of just giving crit and AD in the active, where it just gives you more crit and AD. So see how it works. Like, I'd definitely like try it in the update. I'll try it and see how it works, because this is not something you just build. I would say like a normal build.
Junglers.
Yeah.
It would help with their wave clear.
Which junglers would you build it on? This what I'm curious about.
I wasn't prepared to answer that question, and I will not answer it.
It would be good on junglers. Oh, which junglers?
No, the AD ones.
The ones that have attack damage scaling? I don't know. I was just curious because I didn't think about building it on junglers. I'm still stuck in that really narrow mentality that they say marksman, so I'm saying marksman.
Maybe someone with good single target wave clear, like or maybe like a night bat. I don't know.
See that?
Maybe Flash.
Ooh.
Probably not Flash, unless they change his skills.
Maybe Flash.
Yeah, maybe Flash. Depends on how it works with his W. Oh wait, no, W doesn't do on hits anymore. Never mind.
It will again come September.
Will it? Did they
I don't
confirm
know.
that?
That's why I said maybe.
Oh.
Maybe.
Anyway, so Tara, I want to talk about old Zeiss goggles versus new Zeiss goggles. I know they're like really different stats, but I want to get your take on like old versus new.
Alright, hold on. Let me open up this down base. Get these Zeiss goggles. So Zeiss goggles right now gives AD and crit chance, and then, you know, the frenzy active. You take more damage, but you deal more damage.
20 more AD and 20% more crit.
Like, it's a great active, I think. That's a lot of damage it gives you. And 50 AD is nothing to scoff at. It's like Zeiss goggles now is pretty solid. I haven't been building it on my builds lately, but it's still a solid item, and it's completely different. Like, the new Zeiss goggles and the old, they're completely different items now. Like, they fill completely different roles. Like, if you built Zeiss goggles now, you won't build them after September for the same reason. So I don't know. I like the new Zeiss goggles because it's a different item. Because, like, with Zeiss goggles now, you just like, all right, I'm doing crit build. Joe Chills Velocity 9s, Zeiss goggles. If you want to get all the crit items, you just like build all these items and then you're like, alright, I'm done. I got my crit and my damage. And, you know, it's boring. And so with the new Zeiss goggles, you can be like, alright, I'm gonna do attack damage, attack speed, armor pen build, and you just like build Huntress crossbow, Zeiss goggles, attack speed, attack damage, all that stuff, and then, you know, do something different.
It's basically just Mega Rod with a different passive. Old Mega Rod.
Yeah, when I was looking at the stats, I was like, this was really close to old Mega Rod. Or maybe exactly old Mega Rod. I don't remember, because who built that item? Nobody.
Leo?
But Leo's my boy. Leo's my boy. So, everything he does is correct. Anyway, I also want to talk about, there is like a pretty big change to Eclipsos. So I'm gonna just pull that up on the stream. So this is, I don't know. I never really enjoyed the stats of Eclipsos because I didn't know that many people who would want to build Power Lifesteal. But they added a new keyword onto Eclipsos Diamond. They added Desperate Power. Gain 1.5 power damage for every 2% health you're missing, max 45 power damage. But I don't know how much power or lifesteal. Yeah, power lifesteal it gave before, but it gives 30% power lifesteal with 60 power damage, which I think is actually pretty decent now. Do you guys have any thoughts on this, like who you would build it on, etc.?
I'd probably build it on blasters. Maybe.
Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, max 45 on the 60, that's 105 power damage, and I think it'll go pretty well with people who utilize Neuron's contract.
Right.
Because like if you get low, you just pop Neurons and you're healing it back while still doing damage on someone like Joker or like Star Staff or something.
Right.
Seems interesting.
I actually just noticed Leo actually color-coded the whole list, and a couple comments down for everything removed, added, or decreased, or increased.
Oh. Oh man. Oh man, I never saw this.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
Oh my
And Desperate
goodness.
Speed is removed from Cheetah's Claw, which makes it even worse.
Okay. So I guess we could talk about Cheetah's Claw then, because you brought it up. But going back to Eclipsos really quickly, I don't know. I think a lot of blasters will like that now. If I remember right, Starheart gives 100 power damage flat now, before the whatever. Yep. So I don't know. It gives more power damage. It can give more power damage than base Starheart or tier 2 Starheart, which is like I think pretty huge. So I'm definitely gonna try Eclipsos Diamond out, see if it is really good. But do you want to talk about Cheetah's Claw? Because I've never liked Cheetah's Claw ever.
Still trash.
That's the item that I used to build because I'm just like I don't want Atlantis Gambit, and I want Lifesteal, and I desperately wanted it to work, and I would build Cheetah's Claw, and I never felt good about it. Like, it's just like don't ever feel good about building Cheetah's Claw. And now that
in the good old days.
Like, now it gives 10% more base attack speed, but like I don't know. I don't think it's still that it's cheap, but I don't think it's that useful. You know?
Yeah.
Because you just like want, I don't know. For me, I just want to have some sort of lifesteal, and my options are just so limited. And this is
Soul Takers.
In September, Soul Takers will come back, and I am excited.
Yeah, it's good. That's good because, like, you had Atlantis Gambit, you had Cheetah's Claw, and then they nerfed Atlantis Gambit, and you know it's still good, but you just didn't have like there's no point. It's just get more attack speed and more attack damage instead of lifesteal because it's not going to help you that much. So Jesus Claw is still mediocre, I guess.
Yeah, and they actually buffed Shades Cane as well.
Alright,
with
so
the passive.
let me find Shades Cane really quickly here. Alright, so yeah, they left the stats alone, but they upped the percentage for Desperate Endurance to kick in. So instead of falling below 30% of your health, you have to fall below 50% of your health. So we saw Shades Cane being built a lot. Usually by like the hybrid marksmen like Gasbat and Mecha Wonder Woman. I don't know who else, like some other here and there people. But it's very good. The 50% mark I think is really huge.
I think it's great. Like I didn't think it was needed, but it's pretty awesome. Like, you know, Shades Cane's already a good item, I think. Like having more AD and ability power, or whatever it's called, attack damage and
power damage
on your auto attacks is really good because you know you're auto attacking on Mecha Wonder Woman and Gasbat, so you're just dealing more damage as you try to do damage, and then now it activates faster. So I think it's good.
Yeah, I think they took a really strong item and just made it like that much more stronger, and I feel like even more people are gonna buy it. I don't know if that's the direction they wanted.
Right, I think it's a great item, and it now just got even better. So I will continue to build it.
Yep.
Yeah, I was a little confused with that, just because you see a lot of people buy it anyway. So I guess I don't know what the logic was, because if 30% was fine, why buff it to 50? I don't know.
Maybe
whatever fools weren't buying it to buy it.
Right? Maybe it's because they want like power lifesteal and lifesteal to be a thing. But I never got Shades Cane for the passive. Like I never got it for that. It was a nice bonus,
right?
And now it's an even better bonus. So
okay. So are there any items that you guys want to talk about in particular? Like I got my kind of items out of the way.
I'd like to talk about how terrible Sphere of Destiny is now. Let me just find it real quick.
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
So, Tier 1 gives 100 health and 10 AD, 10 power armor. Tier 2, 150 health, 20 AD, 20 power armor. And you get 2% of your bonus health as additional attack damage. Actually, let me do that. Haha. So,
absolutely trash now.
Yeah, so what they did, thanks to Leo, they nerfed the attack damage, nerfed the power armor on Tier 2, by the way, by 20. So they halved it.
Yep.
And then they went and made it more expensive as well.
Don't worry, they added 150 health on it. And the passive has actually changed as well. Because it used to be, it was 1.5 of max HP. So even if you have 1,000 bonus health right after September, you're only getting an extra 20 attack damage. Which is terrible.
Yeah. I think they should have added health to it, but maybe a little more than that, because I always felt weird trying to get this item that the passive doesn't really help itself, because there was no health on it. But the bonus health instead of whatever max health now, I think that makes it a lot worse. You can't take advantage of like the extra 400 HP from Doomsday's passive and whatnot, and you know, it kind of sucks.
I think the stats kind of got nerfed a little bit too much. A Cheery and Crashy in the chat are saying, like, what? You guys are crazy.
I don't know. I don't know where they think it's buffed. But I think it was a pretty decent item before.
I guess it depends, because right now the max bonus HP you can get is like, what, 1750-ish? I don't know if that's going to change with all these health items. So how much would that come out to? It's like 2%. Yeah. Like 3580.
Yeah. Alright, Sotura, do you have anything about Spear of Destiny?
No. No. I won't say anything.
Okay.
Are you sure? You sound like you want to say something.
I'm good. No, I'm good. I want to talk about Sudasaros.
Alright.
I hate that item.
Alright.
And it's getting changed a lot.
Alright, let me try and find... Where's Sudasaros? Okay. Sudasaros. So Reflect now applies before mitigation. That is huge. Because, say you want to crit someone for like 500 or whatever, then you take 15% of that, you know, back to you, which is pretty big. So yeah. Sotura, just this is your scene. Talk about this.
They changed it in a good way to where it applies before mitigation, so now you're just doing full damage to yourself. But they also just nerfed the item, which is great for me because it was a little too strong in my opinion, without even having a mod for it.
Right.
To where it's just like, what was it, 40% attack damage reflected, 100 armor? Like, get out of here. Like, I can't do damage to people who build that item. And now, well, and, you know, they gave it to where it does more damage. Well, we'll have to see because of the nerfs to it. I could do the math, but I'm retarded, so I'm not going to. But they at tier 4, they reduced the armor by 40. So, like, that's a lot. And then they reduced the reflect by, what was it?
15%.
Negative 15%. Like, that is a huge deal. And then they gave, what did they give it, health now? And they gave it health now, which
yes.
200 HP.
Which I'm okay with these changes because like Sudasaros was just too strong in my opinion, and so I like these changes to Sudasaros.
Maestro, you play a lot of tanks up in the top lane. Did you feel like Sudasaros was like this? You kind of had to buy item because it was so good modded.
Yeah, you really do. Like both reflects, even like this is something you have to do if you're trying to play tanks. But I do agree that it was probably too strong, and this will help. But it does kind of seem a little weird because they're taking off attack reflect, but they're also making katanas more like viable. And you'll get lifesteal anyway, so you're kind of healing back on this reflect compared to now where nobody builds lifesteal.
Right.
So which is a little weird.
Right. And he makes a good point, which I didn't say, is we didn't have lifesteal and they had reflect. So we're literally just killing ourselves and there's nothing we could do about it without building a lifesteal item, and they were not good. Like, I built Cheetah's Claw to stop myself from killing myself to, like, Sudasaros, and it didn't feel good.
But you're also helping kill yourself because you got attack speed, so you're, like, attacking faster and, like, you know,
yeah, right, so it's you know, it's weird, but, because, like, they're doing it all at the same time.
Right.
To where I'm going to start building lifesteal, and then they nerfed reflect, so we'll see how that works.
Any other items that people want to talk about?
Diana's bracers gonna be awesome.
So I when I read the Diana's bracer changes, I was like, what? Because they made it really good, in my opinion. So okay, so you guys can see all the stats, but I think the biggest thing is the tier 3. So I think you get a bunch of stats at tier 3. So you get resilience, which is always nice. 20 health regen per 10, 30 attack armor, health balance, which is the old keyword, and you get this new keyword, mounting defense. When you take damage from drones or creatures, gain a stack of 1% damage reduction that lasts for 5 seconds, maximum 10% damage reduction. You get 2 stacks when damaged by champions. Hello, Wonder Woman. This is one of your new items. Here's your bracers.
Seems good.
Yeah. It is a lot more expensive though.
It is more expensive.
Yeah.
But I think that keyword, mounting defense, is really good.
Yeah.
So
it's nice. Like
I
that.
think Gas Joker
pretty
is
good.
gonna be more OP.
Gas Joker is going to love this item as well. I
If
immediately
he ever gets played.
Ooh. I immediately thought Wonder Woman because of how easy it would be to stack your mounting defense. Because you just ult. You still get, correct me if I'm wrong, but you get a bonus power armor and attack armor when you ult.
Yes.
So
50% extra.
right. So
Yeah.
you can like ult and get this damage reduction and this, bonus attack armor, power armor. And it's just like, I'm super tanky. You cannot kill me. And then I regen all this health. And when I get like low, I'm going to regen more health. So
Like, it's nice for people like Wonder Woman and Gas Joker, but I feel like on other characters, the fact that it's missing health, like flat health itself, people will kind of stray away from it. So I don't know how that's gonna work.
Pretty much every other item has health now, so it's not like you're gonna be really missing out on health.
Yeah, but like imagine like how much you're spending, and then you don't get plus health for all that you're spending. Yeah.
I guess.
So, Tur, you have any thoughts?
I never built this item. I'm a marksman.
What about can you speculate on like the Wonder Womans and the Gas Jokers that will be building this in September?
How will you kill Gas Joker as a marksman?
Like, man, it's already really hard to kill Wonder Woman because she just regens all her HP whenever she's so low, and it's already really hard to kill a Gas Joker. So it'll still be really hard to kill them, both of them, unless they just like stand still. So it looks good. It looks good for them. Like, and it just like gives a sheer amount of stats. So like, at some point, just like having everything can't be that bad when all you're missing is health. When you have like everything else, so could be good.
I'm not sure if you could hear children screaming in the background.
Yes.
Apologize for that.
Are
Those
you
are my
running a
neighbors.
daycare?
No. Just my neighbors.
Alright, it's no big deal. So are there any other items that we want to talk about? Maestro, you've been really quiet. Is there an item that you're like super excited for come September?
I'm excited for probably the most is like Metallo's Heart or something, because I always thought that aura was really strong, but you can never get it because it doesn't give health and it gives kill.
Right.
So I'm excited to get that item, especially since people are playing like double AD and stuff. But I'm have to see if that changes. But I think that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, for the stream. So at tier 3, Metallo's Heart is giving 250 health. So that's going to be interesting. It is losing 30 attack armor though. So I also go ahead, Sotura.
I was just gonna say that just seems in line with all the other items losing attack armor.
Right.
So
Okay, something that I also want to kind of bring up is I don't think any of the mods for these items have been released. So if the same mods that are currently on live carry over to the September patch, I think some of the mods will just get insanely stronger. But we don't know what Turbine... I think Danger Dan does the mods as well, so I don't know what he has in store for all of these items mods-wise, or mod-wise, so that will be very interesting come September. But we are judging these items purely based on their unmodded state. So that is what is going on. Crashy brought up a good point. Deathstroke's and Huntress's crossbow change is very interesting. And I agree. I thought it was very interesting as well. So I just need to pull it up here somewhere.
I think it really fits with like making whatever crossbow the 80 carry item and Deathstroke the assassin item.
Mm-hmm. It's very thematic. Like, it doesn't really mean like. It's great because it doesn't really mean much, because they could have just like left crossbow and just like switched the keyword, but it doesn't fit thematically, so it's good that they switch them like that, because then you like, I build Deathstrokes and then I terminate you, and I'm an 80 carry and I build a crossbow because I shoot you. So and it helps with new people, because they're like, I want to shoot people, so I build the shooty item, and if you're melee, you're like, I want to stab people, so I build the stabby item.
Yeah, so...
I didn't think of that, but that's nice.
So I build my crossbow, and I build my gun, and then I build my sword, so I can heal.
And then an axe out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then I build an axe so I can do more damage.
It's not perfect, but it's getting there, I guess.
Oh god, no, we're just messing with you. But yeah, I think that the cross, like, it does kind of make sense. Like, oh, I want to build a crossbow because like this gives me stats that are really good for me, and so the Slayer is also kind of moving on to crossbow is really nice, just because this will also kind of help deal with the with like the tanks and stuff, because you'll be doing % health damage. Which used to be on Deathstrokes, but I also feel like it just kind of makes Deathstrokes this like lesser tier. Like, it used to be just like so good, because like it had the Slayer keyword on it, and then you could mod it for Terminate.
Well, it automatically will have the Terminate on it now.
Yeah, it'll automatically have Terminate now, but I'm talking.
And it gets
like,
the pen.
Yeah, I'm talking right now. That you had to mod it for Terminate, or have to mod it for Terminate, and it's like. It's got, % damage active, % damage attack speed, or attack passive, and it's like, gives you attack speed and attack damage. It's like, it's so good. There's not a lot of people, or like, if you're AD, then like, you can always consider this item, in my opinion, and it's just very good. So I'm glad that the Terminate is coming back on default, or by default, and then it's going to just be pretty much an assassin item.
Right. It's like, it's absurd, because now with Terminate default, imagine the mods for it. Like, late game, I would build Huntress crossbow and Deathstrokes. I wouldn't mind having both of them, and like having Terminate just to have it, because it's free, is pretty good. And then, if it's, let's say it has the same mods now, right? +9 damage, or, I don't know, a better Terminate, right? Like, that's pretty useful. And, like, anyone who builds attack damage, I would buy both. I wouldn't necessarily get them one after the other, but late game, I definitely sell a Coda Blade for a Deathstrokes.
Yeah. There's actually also a small change to wounding on Coda Blade you didn't mention. It actually, each basic attack reduces it by 20% your healing, instead of 50, and it stacks up to 50.
Right.
so you don't just automatically get the 50%.
Okay. So I want to talk about Soul Taker Katana really quick, or Soul Taker's Katana really quickly, just because I love this item, and the lifesteal is getting buffed on it, and that makes me so happy. Oh, even though it's only 2%.
Reducing the stacks.
Exactly. So it'll stack quicker. It's keeping the same values though, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll just, which is fine. But 12% lifesteal on tier 4. Woo! That makes me so happy.
That's good.
Yeah. No.
That's really good. Now I don't have to build Cheetah's Claw anymore.
Please no.
I could just build. I could build this
Please
with
no.
the bonus. With the bonus of having more lifesteal, because like you just want, like you want lifesteal, so you gotta you build this now.
Right.
So it's good.
So I think Cheetah's Claw will turn into the noob trap item, because I think every MOBA has that one noob trap item that, you know, sounds good on paper, but in practice is actually just absolutely terrible. And I think Cheetah's Claw will turn into that. It used to be Mega Rod.
I think it's already the noob trap item.
Cheetah Claw?
Yeah. Just
I see a lot of people building it just because it's so cheap. They're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I have all this extra gold. Better build a Cheetah's Claw. I'm just like, why?
Why are you doing this? Why have you forsaken me?
Right?
But yeah, I'm super hyped for Soul
That's-
Taker changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
and another big thing they changed. Will regen is changing to a % bonus.
I don't know if it's changing to a % bonus, because there are
I
some
think-
items that like had the flat or whatever, but then they switched to %. So like I was confused.
I'm pretty sure that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Danger Dan said they were changing all will regen to %,
Yeah, I think they are.
Okay.
which I haven't done the math on because I don't like dealing in percentages,
I don't like
Oh,
dealing
small
in
numbers.
percentages either.
especially when
Yeah.
that percentage is over time.
Right. I was really confused by the % changes. So let me.
Well, it depends. It depends on how fast and what the percentage is, because to me it just sounds like it's giving everyone a free. If you, I don't know, going back to League of Legends, built Chalice of Harmony and then Unholy Grail,
Mhm.
like giving everyone a free Grail is kind of a big deal. You just like sit there, spam your mana, and then you're like, all right, percentage, give me mana. You know, that item gave it percentage based on your missing mana, so the more you were missing, the more mana you get back.
Right.
But if it's a flat number and it depends on the rate, it could be good.
Yeah.
So
So
spam
'cause
out skills.
that's like the big part that confused me, because it was just like 40% will regeneration. Now I'm like, over how long? Or do I regenerate 40% of my will every 10 seconds? Every.
I think it's like just 40% of your base will regen. You get an extra 40% of that.
So since you said you did the math, Nick, is it actually more will regen or less? Cause
No, I said I didn't do the math.
Oh, you didn't. Okay, never mind.
No.
Because yeah,
I
it's
could-
just the percentage is confusing. Something I missed it anyway.
And this is something that I like sometimes in the patch notes. Turbine like does really vague wordings of things, and this is kind of one of those instances where it's like very vague, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, if my math is correct from just based on Dr. Destiny Dreamstone, if you have 10 base will regen over 10 seconds, you're going to be getting 50% will regen, so that's an extra 5 will regen instead of the 20 will regen it's at right now.
So you would be getting 15.
Getting a lot. No, you'd be getting 5 extra instead of
Okay.
20, along with the passive of 1%. For 1% will regen for every 1% will missing.
I don't know. It's just it's very just weird to me to think about. And it's also like confusing and vaguely worded, and this is something about Turbine that I have always been like, I don't like this. Like,
Yep.
just give me like concrete numbers to work with, not 40% or it was changed. Just, I want cold, hard numbers.
I'm going to assume it was a nerf to will regen.
Yeah,
But-
you gotta like think about the champion changes too, and how since most of them are changing, they might be changing how the wills regen on each champion.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm going to say this anyway. But I was talking to Celestrata a little bit ago, and she said that the patch notes for September are going to be absolutely gigantic. Like, I think there are a lot more changes than we know about. And that's, you know, most likely true. But I'm assuming, like, literally everything about champions will be different. Especially if we're to believe, like, this will regen is going to be, like, off of, like, your base, and then, like, the bonus will regen you get off of, like, from leveling and items and whatnot. So, I don't know, it's just...
Yeah, this September patch is a big deal.
Yeah,
It's gonna be huge.
it's going to be gigantic.
It's gonna be excellent. I'm most excited for the responsiveness update. So
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
things like I auto attack and then it, you know, does it like I want it to, and I
Right.
can cancel my animations like I want to. You know, it's
Mhm.
nice.
Okay. Are we good for items, or are we, do you guys have some more items you want to talk about?
No items for me.
Nick?
Yeah. I think I'm good.
Maestro?
Same. Yeah,
Alright.
good.
So let's move on. I need to actually pull up the show notes really quickly, because did that. I guess we could just briefly talk about the new Night Soup's costume. So he got like that underwater kind of Kraken-y themed one. I think it looks really cool.
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Tentacle
I really like it.
Cthulhu. Oh,
Yeah.
feels so good.
So
I like it.
yeah,
Same.
I want to see costumes get more particle changes. So like the big one I can think about right now is Aquaman. He throws the umbrellas with the lifeguard one instead of just tridents. I want to see more particle changes, especially
Yeah,
with
I agree.
crisis coins being pretty expensive to buy. Or at least in my opinion, I've always thought that the crisis coin to actual real money ratio was pretty bad. So, I would like to see more particle changes. Like this one has, like when you die and you're like in your passive or whatever, he's got like the little noodly things. I mean that's nice, but I'd like to see maybe like a more oceany W or something, like the vortex.
Right. And
Um,
I guess it's hard because the game is still in beta.
Right.
So like we know they can. I guess but the thing is, I guess they're just not devoting that much effort to it right now. But
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll see it in the future because look at Joker, Arkham
Right.
Joker. Like his particles aren't all that different at all, but he walks differently. He's got a cool trench coat. And he just looks different. And we know they're capable, and so I'm sure they'll give it to us eventually.
I love.
Yeah, I did
Arkham
want to
Joker.
point out the Nightmare Soups, the new costume, does have different animations on its like Joker taunt. I forget which one, but one of them has like coral, like starfish type stuff. So that was pretty neat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just going based off what I saw in game. I actually haven't used it. I have it, but I haven't used it. just because I'm terrible with night soups. Okay, so let's go into Burbank. So Burbank is about 2 weeks away. Brawl, Surreal, Curse, and Team C are going. And Surreal managed to clinch the 4th place spot, probably to nobody's surprise. So, do we know the format of Burbank? Was like that announced, or am I just like kind of dumb for not thinking of, or not finding it?
Not that I know. We don't know the format.
Okay.
We know our matchups, but we don't know the format, like best of 5 or 3, whatnot. Yeah.
Like, is it round robin? So are you guys like gonna play each other like once or whatever to determine like groups or whatever? I don't know.
I don't think so.
It's really hard to think of like a good format for like a 4-team tournament when you want to make it like as fair as possible and get like
Right.
You know,
Well, I think
everybody to
with
play
this
each other.
case, like, you want to make the season relevant,
Mhm.
so it's probably just going to be like a best of, wait, not best of, more of like a single elimination tournament,
Mhm.
because you don't want to discount brawls like season
Right.
compared to ours, and then have a round robin where we might have a better matchup or something, and forget about the season.
Yeah, and it's hard because it's one day. Like we have
Yeah,
to play all
exactly.
this stuff in one day. So
Yeah.
unless I'm missing something where like I have to play on Friday when I get in there, like gotta play these games, which I doubt. So
No, I
You
don't
know.
think so.
Play it
Right.
all through the night.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do it, but I don't know if I want to do it.
Mhm.
So yeah, we don't know. And that's why it's hard because it's only 4 teams.
Exactly.
So
That's the
So-
like I appreciate that Turbine is doing the LAN, but this 4 teams is like really difficult. Even at PAX when it was 5 teams, it was like pretty. It's kind of weird. I at PAX I felt like the amateur tournament was actually run a little bit better than the pro tournament, which was odd. So Achiri wants it to be like C versus Surreal. Winner plays Curse and the winner plays Brawl. So that would be like a how the in league the Korean regionals went. So you had like the lowest seed play like the next lowest seed, play like the next lowest seed, like work their way up the gauntlet until they face the higher or like the first seed. Which
Kind of like that.
yeah, which was actually really exciting because it was like the teams just kept getting better and better, and you got like better and better matches. And
Yeah.
if like
Would
because
be-
Surreal would start at the bottom, right? It was Surreal, C, Brawl, Curse, or Curse, Brawl. My bad. And like if I'm just throwing like super hypotheticals out, of course, but if like Surreal is like the best team that day, then they will just like beat everybody. So I think that would be exciting to watch.
Yeah, that's not bad. It actually makes, like the season relevant, like I was saying, like Brawl actually, will be rewarded for being first. In which they actually got first because like Curse didn't play that last week, and Curse still had that chance to save first too. So it probably would have like given them incentive to play that last week as well.
Right. So I'm assuming that the details for Burbank will be released maybe next week after the monthly finals. Monthly finals are next Saturday, I believe. Right?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll have more details like Monday or the Monday before Burbank. Just because if you guys don't know like what you're playing, then that's going to be pretty bad. Unless you guys like already know and you're just like messing with me. But it I don't know. I'm excited because it's been 4 months since the last LAN, and there have been really interesting storylines that have popped up. So if we remember at PAX, KGO, now Brawl, pretty much won the tournament because they were like really good, and I think people were expecting them to come second to Old Complexity, who was just kind of, you know, stomping the scene at the time. And now with all of the Old Complexity people gone,
Except Crashy.
Except Crashy, who is on Surreal. But I'll get to that. With all of the Old Complexity people gone, now Brawl is like the top team, right? Just like going based off like results and like the seeding and stuff. They're like numero uno. And you also have Curse, which kind of formed after the breakup of Old Vex, or not, or Old Vex.
Complex.
Pax Vex, we'll say. And I don't know, it's
The
just
real Vex.
the real Vex. Oh man.
Vex, Complexity, AL.
Yeah. So that, I don't know, that's very interesting as well, because the Curse and C have also gone through these roster changes where they've like swapped people back and forth because they're like, I don't know, like the reasoning given, like, oh, we're all really good friends, so we're like trying to find the best roster for each of us. So Tura, if I'm like completely wrong, just like stop me at any time.
No comment.
Sotura hates everyone on Curse.
I hate everyone on everyone. I hate all of you.
Oh man. Alright. That's really sad.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry
so
about
like,
it.
C and Curse have had this like really kind of, I want to use the word incestuous relationship where they just swap players.
Creepy.
What?
Kinky.
That's creepy.
How's that creepy? It's like super fitting.
That's true.
It's
That's
true
not-
though. It's true that they've been swapping members back and forth. So, and then you have Surreal, who kind of, you know, had this like really dramatic rise like through the standings. Like once they picked up Crashy, they like just like marathoned it to that 4th place. So like you can like make all of these storylines. So like Brawl is number 1. Will they remain number 1? Will they win this land? Surreal has been like on this pretty like awesome hot streak. Are they just going to show up at Burbank and just like overtake Brawl and become number 1? Curse, they've always been like number 2. Is this going to be the time that they overcome Brawl? And like Team C, like solidly 3rd. Are they just going to stay solidly 3rd? Or are they going to beat everybody else and like show up? And I don't know, all of these storylines kind of make me excited for Burbank as a spectator. And oh yeah, Surreal is having a sub at Burbank, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm assuming that the sub will be announced right before Burbank.
I guess I can say it. This has been going on for like the past month or so. We've been trying to figure out because Picasso's having issues with passport stuff. Not just that, but yeah. So we're actually going to be using Pseudo from Justice.
Sneak him in.
Sneak him in.
Yeah, there's some
Canada, they don't
rules with
check.
Canadians where like he can come here perfectly fine, but he can't go back. So that's weird,
Sneak him out then.
It's America.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Which
your right.
actually makes me really sad because I really wanted to meet Picasso. He's a really good guy, and it's really unfortunate.
Right? I was trying to play Smash Bros.
Yeah. Man. So, alright, so everybody from like Surreal, except for Picasso, rest in peace, will be at...
Didn't die.
He didn't die.
He's not ambuscade.
Well, anyway, I'm excited to meet all of these guys because I will be driving up when Burbank is going on, and that'll be super exciting. And then we're going to be playing Smash Brothers. Sotura, Achiri, me, and whoever wants to play. At the hotel at Burbank, I think. So that'll be. I'll probably like take videos and I'll upload them because I think that'll be a fun kind of thing. I think we've covered everything about Burbank, unless you guys want to add in stuff.
Do you have a bold prediction for the winner?
Do I have a bold prediction for the winner? Let's start with you, Nick. Do you have a bold prediction for the winner?
I do. I think Team C is going to upset Brawl in the finals.
Ooh.
Sotura, don't let me down.
You got it, baby.
That is bold. Okay. So I'm going to take the less bold path, and I'm going to say Brawl.
Wow.
And here I'm going to give reasoning as well. Okay, so Surreal's using a sub, which, you know, you guys can scream with the sub, whatever. I don't know how, what Picasso's impact on the team is, if he's like a shot caller, if he like times or like does all of this stuff, like, you know, macro strategy, picks and bans, rotations, call, that stuff. I don't know what his, because like I don't ask people, I'm like, hey, who's your shot caller? Like I just kind of assume like someone does it, though I just don't know who. So I don't know what level of impact Picasso brought to the team, and with that gone, whether it'll negatively impact Surreal or not. And using the sub, who might have a different champion pool, I don't know, if like, let's say Pseudo's not as comfortable on like Wonder Woman or something, and you guys really want to run Wonder Woman bottom, like that'll happen. C and Curse have had like really weird roster swaps, and so like even though like, you know, you guys can claim it's like, you know, this is like the roster we want and stuff, you guys have kind of less synergy than Brawl, who has been together as this 5-man unit like pretty much shortly after PAX was over, because they picked up Dak and benched Salty Kai. Yeah. So with Dak there, like they've been this 5-man unit for like months. So like they're probably, they like know how each other play and like all the stuff. So I'm just going to say, based off of like just that, Brawl should be the favorite going into Burbank. So that is me. Achiri saying C, who has been playing primarily together since high school, has less synergy than Brawl.
Okay, Cal.
I was gonna tell you,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't know if I should. But you know, apparently Achiri did it for me.
Okay,
So
so I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, from an outside perspective, because I didn't know you guys like all played together from high school. I'm sure that
Right.
was in like the Reddit post or whatever. One of the 2 Reddit posts that Achiri did.
I mean, you didn't read the Reddit post?
I read the Reddit posts.
Obviously not.
But it's still this kind of like weird roster swap situation, and then I feel like, I don't know, Curse is, I think Curse will take third, because I haven't seen Curse play recently, because they didn't play in the last week of ESL, so it's like very secret how they are, because like, you know,
I think Curse will take 4th.
you think
wow.
If they play like they did last time they were in ESL, I think they're gonna place 4th.
Oh my god. Hashtag forever 4th. So I don't know, like, to me Curse is this very huge X factor, because you know, I follow a lot of these guys on Twitter, I follow Mal. Mal has been like really active on Twitter. He's like, I want to get #1 MMR, and like Khan is like this solo queue god, and he's just like from whenever I've heard like Khan has always been like #1 MMR wise. So like, you know, to me he's this like huge X factor. Is he going to show up and just like completely stomp everyone like with Mal, who's like gunning for that #1? If anyone can give me updates on the MMR leaderboard, that would be cool. Because I know Mal was gunning for it really hard.
Pretty sure Nuvin was saying that Mal was actually dropping
Oh.
in MMR.
Yeah, you said that Mal was going in the wrong direction. If he wanted to get #1.
Right. Oh, apparently Mal hit #1, so he is the best player numerically on North America. So congratulations to him.
I feel like he's lying to us.
He's
I feel
definitely
like
lying.
to us. I don't think that's.
Okay, but anyway, I think Fatal is like a god. I always thought he was like really good because he used to play mid lane for Vex or Pax Vex, and I thought he was like one of the mid laners that like showed up, even though Vex didn't play or place that well at PAX. I thought he was like super good, and like watching him on support, I'm like, this guy is still super good. So like, I don't know.
A good player is a good player.
Yeah, a good player is a good player. So I'm very excited to see how Curse does, but I think that the standings. I honestly think that the standings that are right now, like, you know, Brawl first, Curse second, C third, Surreal fourth. I think that's what's going to happen at the end of Burbank. That is my bold prediction for Burbank.
I don't know if you can say bold because you're just going by standings, but yeah, safe to say.
No, because like if anything, I think Surreal will pull an up, or like it's not really an upset, right? But I think Surreal will get third, and then C can get fourth. I think that's the only thing that will change. I'm just defending everybody on this stream.
What?
See, Maestro's just like sitting there. He's like, how can I plot my murder against Cal? He's like, I can like poison his drink, and Sotura's like visually frustrated. He's like, oh, what are you saying?
Sorry, Sotura, I believe in you.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I think Team C is gonna be #1. You know, not because I'm like on the team or anything, but
Yeah,
I
I say the same. Like, we're practicing to win, and that's what I believe we're gonna do.
Like, yeah, no, I understand like everybody's desire to win, and like I'm not trying to discount it at all. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, this is what's going to happen. I really want to see, you know, upsets. Like during PAX, Dignitas was like, "Hey guys, we're coming from EU," and everybody from NA was like, "Oh, EU guys, you guys are bad. Shazam, what? Who plays that champion?" And then Dig got third at PAX, and pretty much surprised everybody. And I wanted to see them take first, so that was me. Because I wanted to see our European gods rise above the trash talk and just show NA that they were bad.
Yeah, I remember watching PAX, and I think like the most exciting game was that Complexity versus Dignitas.
Yeah, that was
It
really
was
cool.
most competitive, yeah.
That one was super
So
cool.
it's good on them.
Okay. So, I think we're out of topics, unless you guys have anything you guys want to bring up really quick.
No.
Maestro, Sotura, do you think we covered everything?
I think we did.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we're going to end the podcast here, guys. So, Nick, do you have any shoutouts that you want to do?
Shout out to Team C for winning Burbank before it happened. Don't let me down. And also, That's it. Oh, can we announce who we're gonna have on the podcast?
I will do that. I will do that.
Oh,
I'm
excellent.
gonna do that.
Then that's it. Don't pay attention to those sirens.
Yeah.
They're not for me.
Nick is secretly like this Colombian drug lord, and they're finally busting him. All right. Sotura, shout-outs, plugs, anything you want to say at the end of this.
Let me shout out to my boy Cal Starcraft Achiri, top laner for Team C. Shout outs to him. Shout outs to I'm Going Pro. You're terrible. I hate you. Shout outs to Ms. Leslie for believing in me. And shout outs to my mom. What's up, Mom?
Is she watching the podcast?
No.
So Tura, I like your shades too.
Me too. They make me look really cool.
Alright.
Why are you wearing shades indoors?
Why aren't you wearing shades indoors?
Ooh. Alright.
Because there's no sun.
Alright, Maestro. Shoutouts, plugs, anything you want to say.
Yeah, so I'll shout out to my team. Surreal. They're all awesome. I'm really excited to meet them. And every one of the other team members from C, Brawl, and Curse. Shout out to Jen, because she's the best person ever. And Team Ice, which I'm excited to meet in like 2 days. And last of all, the best shout out is to the Cowboys. They're getting wrecked right now, but it's okay. They're going to make a comeback, even though it's like 21-3. And
It's
I
the
believe
Cowboys. They're not going to come back.
you never know. It's Tony Romo. I heard he's clutch, so we'll see.
I've never heard that about Tony Romo.
But cheers to hoping.
Alright. So I want to shout out to everybody who stopped by the stream. Thank you guys for watching. I want to shout out to all my guests. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm going to shout out to all of the teams that are going to Burbank. I'm excited to meet you all and meet you all again for some of you. And oh, so this is kind of a big announcement. So our regularly scheduled podcast Prime that's supposed to happen on the 21st will not be happening, mostly because of Burbank, and all of the people that I would want to have on will be gone in LA and have like no internet connection and be flying and stuff. So to make up for this, we will be having a special podcast Prime on the 30th of September. We're going to be having Anuvan and Leo on to discuss the September patch. So definitely tune in for that. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be super, super, super informative, and I'm excited to have actual Turbine people on because it's going to be amazing. So, thank you guys for watching this podcast. VOD will be on YouTube probably tomorrow-ish.